mean, the true relevance of that quote is from Coach K is rooted in the fact that it could be like construed as a team building quote, but in order for a team to fully gel and to fully merge, then the kids and the players on the team and the coaches and everybody involved need to be accountable for their own behavior first. Mm-hmm. In doing that, and thus kind of sacrificing yourself and sacrificing your own individual game to others, that resonates in building a team, and it kind of circles back. And in this generation, we're rooted on getting mine. I want mine. I want more for me. I want more for me. I think that kind of it makes a environment of deflecting things. When things don't go right, it's easy to blame someone else. And it's easy, hey, that wasn't my fault. That was somebody else's fault. Or as a coach, the kids just didn't show up today. And that's not taking accountability for yourself. If you're truly invested into other people, like what Coach K is saying here, it could truly allow you to look introspectively at what you can do for others. And I think that's at the core of what we do here in our program. To build a true team, one must sacrifice the individual and the individual goals for others. Now, I think that collectively builds a spirit that is impenetrable when you're playing an opponent. And more importantly, the spirit flows through the team that allows for an experience that can never be taken away from anybody. Now, when you get the petty differences and things that aren't going right, and kids are pointing at each other and there's no accountability for anything, it's really easy to kind of lose that self and thus lose the fabric of the team. And it starts with the individual. It starts with that whole concept of accountability. I did wrong today. I wronged you. I let you down. And that collapses the spirit of or that actually brings up the spirit of the team. And that individual is going to strive because he knows he could have done better. Maybe spiritually or physically, maybe he dropped the pass or fumbled the ball. It was the big play of the game. In embracing the fact that I could have done better today, and embracing the fact that I could have done better for you, not for me, I think that whole concept is the foundation of that quote from Coach K, and thus just invigorates the whole team. And the unique thing, and the thing that kind of parlays it back, people who actually invest in that whole concept as an individual, ironically gain more as a person. The ones that are out for selfish gain and they can't look themselves in the mirror and they're dodging criticism and hey, it's his fault and they can't look themselves in the mirror will never achieve as much as they can or could have if they had injected themselves into a greater good, which is team success.
Very good. That's good. That's a good start. Okay, now we're talking about evidence for this, Patrick, in your program.
We had a player on our team this year named Eric Wilson. He just accepted a full scholarship to the University of Washington, signed it a couple weeks ago. Very exciting moment for him as an individual, his family, people that know him, closest to him. The unique thing about his signing ceremony on letter of intent day was the gym was full of his teammates. And he smashed every record at Serra High School. The team smashed all the scoring and rushing records in individual season. We've been playing football here since 1944. He's one of the most prolific running backs in the history of Serra High School. Excuse me, the most prolific running back in the history of Serra High School. And knowing what I know about Eric Wilson, I know that each yard that he gained, he was doing it for other people. He's a competitive guy, and I don't want this to get so kind of spiritual that we lose like our own competitive desire to be great. I think that has something to do with this. But the fact that he truly wanted to score and be the best human being he could be for his friends enabled him to sign a scholarship, to smash the record books, to do everything that he wanted to do individually. And to me, as a coach, in my 11 years as being a head coach, and I'm a young head coach, got a long way to go, there's no better anecdote than that. Knowing what I know about the kids about Eric and the kids that supported him when he was gaining individually, all of his teammates were there. When he put his name to that piece of paper, that really shows to me that those kids understood him and understood that as he was putting the ball in the end zone, he didn't celebrate, he didn't spike the ball, which would be a penalty in high school, but he didn't, there was nothing that would draw attention to himself. Doesn't like the limelight, doesn't like the newspaper, doesn't like any of that stuff. And when he was quoted, it was, I want to thank my offensive linemen. I want to thank my teammates who blocked for me today. And that sort of attitude is what I was just talking about before, enabled him to have great individual success. That's story one. On an individual basis, this concept of gaining as an individual by looking yourself in the mirror, introspection, personal accountability, and thus putting a team in front of yourself, like Coach K mentioned in his quote. It happened in my own life where at De La Salle High School in 1991, we lost. And at De La Salle High School, you don't lose. And we were kind of lost in winning and losing at that time in 1991. And that loss gave us the opportunity to kind of smacked us in the face as juniors and sophomores who were on that team, and had the fortunate, timing to be able to come back and redo it in a sense. And I remember our friends got together and we said, this isn't going to happen anymore. This is not the way we're going to do our business here at this school ever again. And I remember just thinking from a personal level, I was looking around that Coliseum floor, Oakland Coliseum, and I looked around and I saw my friends crying. And I myself inside, I was not crying. I didn't cry till later that night. But my pain was not for myself, and really my genuine, honest feeling was, what could I have done to make sure my friends weren't crying? And what can I do in the off season to make sure I never have to put my arm around a teammate and pick him up? And our entire existence was kind of rooted into making sure we never felt that way again as a team. What can we do in 105-degree heat? Give us all you got. Give it. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that we never, ever, ever feel this tragic feeling inside of ourselves again. We're young kids, and obviously relative to other things, there's other things going on. But for us, this was very real. And we kind of rewrote what it meant to be a De La Salle Spartan at that time. Ironically, I had the fortunate occurrence to be behind a bunch of guys that felt the same way I did and was virtually untouched all year long, and rewrote the De La Salle record books in the same vein that, many years later Eric Wilson did for Serra High School. And all the yards, all the touchdowns, and everything that I did as an individual that year, never once did I think, I can't wait to gain another yard for myself. It was the sheer dominating force in my life to make sure my friends never cried again and never felt the way we did in 1991. And the best thing about that whole story is the only ring I'll ever wear outside of my wedding ring is my friend Steve Lilly made 151 game winning streak rings to commemorate the unbelievable 11-year streak that De La Salle had. It's the only ring I'll wear, the only bling I'll wear, because our team changed a culture that was already pretty good by doing things differently for each other. And that was the whole baseline of what we did. 11 years later, De La Salle loses their first game. And being able to be a part of something on the ground floor for others, and taking accountability that we could have done better and to change an entire culture is something that our group of friends will never forget and always be. It's one of the best things we ever did as a group of kids at that time.